That's Tiger Records here in Jacksonville, Florida.
I was just in there picking up some stuff, so let's see what I got. Greetings, y'all. Welcome to another episode. I'm still down here in Charleston, South Carolina, or I'm in Johns Island, just right outside Charleston. So I went down to visit some friends of mine since I was maybe just a 3.5 hour drive from where they live in Florida, and decided to visit them. And on my trip back up here, I thought I'd maybe stop at a record store. There were a couple down maybe further south from where they were, and I looked at those stores and was thinking about looking at them, but then I decided, why don't I try to see if there's something near Jacksonville, kind of going in the direction I have to go, and found there were 2 record stores that kind of piqued my interest. And I looked at the 2 of them, and I was looking at some stuff about them online, and the one really caught my eye. It seemed like they had a kind of a little more of a focus on kind of punk stuff, and they also had used CDs, which especially now is a bigger deal for me. Like I've said pretty recently, I'm starting to kind of shift away from vinyl. I mean, I'll still pick up things if it's something I really, really want, but I kind of feel like I'm kind of back to just picking up more CDs, which kind of goes against everything I'm just going to say, because you're going to see that I picked up some vinyl. But the store I went to looked great, a lot of good reviews. We're talking about Tiger Records in Jacksonville, Florida. And really glad that I stopped at this place, because it's a smaller shop, but just chock full of great stuff. Excellent selection. The guy working there was really, really friendly. The CD selection was really good, and the prices were good. The CDs, used CDs, I think pretty much around like $3. The vinyl was really good, well priced, had a lot of good stuff. They did have a lot of punk, but they had, you know, records covering all the genres, of course. They had some cool artwork up on the walls, a nice cool poster of Susie Sue. They had this really excellent framed poster of Decline of Western Civilization, the first film, the punk one, which I really like, and I wanted to steal. But yeah, I really highly recommend you visiting Tiger Records if you're ever in that area. And I'm sure they probably sell stuff online, so you could probably reach out to them that way as well. I'll put all the information down below, so let's check out what I picked up while I was there at Tiger Records. 1997, we get the self-titled record from the Bouncing Souls, but this is not their debut. This is, I guess, their 3rd record. You may have heard me in the past talk about how I've never been crazy about bands releasing self-titled records like into their career. I always feel like if you don't name your debut self-titled, then that's it. You can't go back. But I'm familiar with this band. I actually saw them live in 2008 at the Fun Fest down in Austin, Texas. They're from New Jersey, where I'm from, and like I said, I've been aware of them, but I never really familiar with them. Never really picked up any of their records. Didn't really know any of their tunes. And so I saw this there, and it was $3. So I just said, maybe this will be like kind of my introduction to the band, see what they're all about, see if I am missing out on something. This is their first record for Epitaph. They signed with Epitaph this year and released this record. They're, typical like kind of pop punk band, a lot of stuff that you'd hear in like the 90s, mid 90s and early 2000s. And pretty good, it's pretty catchy stuff. I've only listened to it once, so I need to kind of give it a few more listens to kind of really see what I think. Sorry if you hear the train in the background going by on the tracks there. But yeah, it was kind of cool just to kind of dig into this one. I mean, I read something online that I don't know who it was, somebody in the band talked about that they thought this album kind of felt like it was a lot of unfinished songs. Maybe they weren't super happy with this record, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with their stuff enough to make that kind of call, but what I heard, I liked, so far. 2013, we get Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, and another self-titled record, and I think this is their third record, just like Bouncing Souls, and they self-titled it. Guys, what are you doing? You're killing me. But I first became aware of this band, like probably a lot of people, from their song Home. I remember being at work and I remember seeing somebody made a video with that song. It wasn't the official video or anything, but somebody took that song and made a video of them like kind of walking across the United States, and it was kind of like animated, just kind of like, you know, the scenery kept changing. It was like as if they took like one shot, like one picture everywhere they went and just kind of animated it together. And I love that song. I love the interplay between the singers, Alex Ebert and Jade, I think her name's Castinos. And I really like that. And I picked up that record, and I picked up their second record, which I think was called Here. And I liked them. They're kind of indie rock, kind of psychedelic, folky kind of stuff, you know. I remember when this came out, but I just didn't really pick up on it, didn't really hear anything of it, nothing spectacular about the CD there. I've got a couple little pictures here, posterish kind of thing. Certainly artwork goes with the band's kind of vibe for sure. So collage. And this one, I don't know, I don't remember if when it came out, if I heard anything from it and I just wasn't crazy about it or what. But you know, again, I saw it there for $3 and I was like, yeah, I'm always interested to give those guys a listen, you know. I like the first two records a lot. The one thing I will say is, like I mentioned on Home, I like the sort of interplay between the two singers. And the second album disappointed me a little bit because it seemed like that there wasn't really any of that on the second record. And so I was happy to see on this record they kind of had a few more of those tunes sort of in line with that. I don't know if it's maybe something they did purposely because they were like, people were disappointed there wasn't another Home kind of sounding tune on our second record, so maybe we should do some stuff like that. Maybe not, I don't know. These guys seem to kind of march to their own beat, so I don't know that they would really take that into consideration. And the funny thing is, like I said, I like the interplay between those two singers on songs, and apparently she left the band right after this record was released or before their next record. But it's good. I listen to it and I enjoy it. Like I said, I need to give these a few more listens before I really kind of, you know, make that call. 2000, we get the EP from Savy Fav called Rome, or perhaps Rome written upside down according to the spine, because Rome is written upside down. I have quite a few records by this band, kind of punk, hardcore-ish, kind of leaning punk band. I've actually bought tickets to see them twice live in New York, and both times got work and was going to be out of town and wasn't able to go, so I had to get rid of the tickets. And most recently, I think it was the beginning of this month, that I was supposed to go see them somewhere, I think in Brooklyn or whatever, and couldn't go and had to give them to a friend of mine. Oh well, what are you gonna do? But like I said, I have a handful of their records and I like them quite a bit. Saw this there, wasn't familiar with it. It's an EP, it's only got a couple of tracks on here, but you know, again, I grabbed it. Always look forward to adding something by them to the collection. I mean, I can't remember the last time they put out a record. It's been a while, but I like these guys. This, you know, I think their sound kind of changed more recently. It's been a little more just kind of punk, whereas like this earlier stuff is maybe a little more hardcore, a little more experimental. I feel like, you know, half of the songs on here are a little like that, and then there's some tracks that feel a little more accessible, or I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, again, like I said, I'm always happy to add something by these guys that I don't have in my collection. 1987, we get Los Lobos and By the Light of the Moon. And I went on that whole spiel about how I'm not buying vinyl anymore, I'm sticking to CDs, and here I am holding a vinyl record up next to my head. This record I picked up on CD maybe last year. I think last year, maybe about a year ago actually, at Cactus in Austin, Texas. Bought the CD. I just started getting more into Los Lobos. I had Will the Wolf Survive and I had Kiko, and I really liked those. And I saw this CD in Cactus and picked it up. I remember when this came out in '87, but didn't really remember anything from it or whatever. And I bought that CD and I really enjoyed it. So I'm digging through the vinyl there at Tiger, and I saw they had this. It was $8, which is really good, and it's in great condition. And you know, I didn't have any Los Lobos on vinyl, and I just, you know, was like, you know, that'd be a cool record to own. I think I really enjoyed it, and you know, like I said, it's a good album. I really Los Lobos is a band that I slept on, you know, in the 80s, didn't really pay much attention to them. This comes out in like January of 1987. Later that summer, of course, they had a big hit with La Bamba from the movie soundtrack. I don't know really if that affected this sales of this record at all. Slash, distributed through Warner Brothers, of course. But you know, they're still out there playing shows, you know, putting out records. They played a concert not like right where I live pretty recently, and I thought about going, but then you know, I think I got a gig out of town and I couldn't go. But I'd be interested to check them out live. I bet you they'd be fun to see live. You know, they got a great catalog. But like I said, you know, I saw this and I really liked this record, and decided to pick it up, even though I keep talking about not buying vinyl anymore, or at least, you know, kind of easing up on it. But yeah, I'll tell you, Tiger, I wish Tiger was closer to where I live, because I would love to be able to stop into that place on a regular basis. You know, it just seems like the kind of record store you'd want to be able to frequent. You know, I highly recommend, when you're down there in the Jacksonville area, I would highly recommend you pop in there. You got to, I think you will not be disappointed. So let me know what you think of these records. Point out any tracks that you think I should check out. You know, thanks again for watching. We'll see you another time. Bye.